thank you all again for tuning back in, and for you that are new, uh, welcome to the show. To recap, kind of where we uh, first left off at, we were talking about putting together a virtual lab network. We were utilizing a Cisco switch. This was what was this? Let's see, I think I can click on here. We've got this is a 3600 Cisco 36. This might be a 3640. This is a 3600 series switch. Uh, Previous episode we set up our VLANs on here. As you see, we set up a VLAN 10, we set up VLAN 20, we set up our network addresses for VLAN 20. We've got 192.168.20 and 168.10 for VLAN 10. And where we left off, I believe we set up our VLANs, and I think what we needed to do was to set up the our fast Ethernet 0/0 for our trunk interface to the router. So before we go hop to the router, let's go ahead and do that configuration. You remember we need to go into global configuration. So that was conf t. You can see if I hit tab, it'll say conf terminal. So that's where we want to go, configure terminal. And that's fast Ethernet 0. Zero zero zero. So interface fast Ethernet 0/0. All right. So we wanna make this a trunking interface. So we go and say switch port mode. I think it. Oh no. Switch port mode trunk. I think that's all I need. Yeah, that's it. So switch port mode trunk. We'll hit that on that, and that should change that to a switch port mode trunk. I think that should be it. I may have already done it, but let's back out. Okay, back out again. Back out. We'll save that configuration. Show. I can't remember the command for that. Trunk. Oh, here we go. So I think I can say .1Q. Okay, so yeah, so it's set up. It just there's no data flowing through there. So that looks to be good. Let's make sure. I'm gonna take a look at the config real quick. We'll confirm. So show running config. Okay, we'll go down to our interfaces. It should tell us here. And used for layer 2 ether switch 00. Ew, do I not have that right? I may not be able to do that. Used for layer 2. That should work, because I'm not doing any layer unused for layer 2. Oh, I am doing layer 2 switching on that one. So, folks, let me. I'm gonna have to reconnect. I'm gonna have to move some interfaces real quick. So, I forgot. I didn't think about that because we're not. We're doing layer 2 switching. Since we're doing router on the stick, this is actually layer 2 switching. So let me go back in and add. What I'll do is fast Ethernet 1.1. I mean 1.0. So we'll throw that in, but we're gonna let me see 0.1 and so for now. So I'm gonna have to put it on 2, and then I will go back here. Throw this one on. That should still be that port should be fine, 03, because that's still on VLAN 10. I'll need to go back in and change this one, make 02 a trunk port. So let me go back in here and let me scroll down. The joys of working with IT stuff here. So. And that's all about kind of walking through this. There's always you sometimes run into trials and errors and stuff, but you got to kind of work through them. So that's what we're going to do here. So we got to make that trunk port, configure T. Terminal. We're going to say interface. Fast Ethernet, and that was 02, and we're going to say switch port mode trunk. And we should see exit, and show running config. So let me take a look now. Okay, VLAN, switch program access VLAN. Oh, so I need to access. Oh, I need to go. That's the problem there. So let's say conf T. So I got it. That ports on access and VLAN 10. So we need to take that off. So interface fast Ethernet 0/2, and we want to say switch port access switch. Oh, we'll say no switch port access actually. Oh, no switch port access VLAN 10. Then I'm gonna say shut and no shut. I'm gonna shut it down and then bring it back up. And there we go. So it says here 02 has become a .1Q trunk. So that's what we wanted. Now let's move over to our router. So let me back out of here and save the configuration. Remember, that is copy running config startup config. Okay, we'll save our configuration for our switch, and that's looking good. Okay, line protocol on VLAN 1 changed to up. Now it's because we made that trunk port. Now VLAN 1 is actually up, so that's actually good. So now we're going to go to our router. Let's actually get out of there. Let's fire up this router. Say start. And let's hop in that console. Okay. Alright, we're going to let this router boot up. I'll tap that enter a few times. Alright, so we're we've got our we're up. So we see a few. Let me see. Show IP interface brief. All right. So nothing set. So first things first. Let's go and let's do. So what we want to do, we got to do routing. We have to do our, we said we're going to do DHCP services on here. So we'll set that up. And we need to set up our sub interfaces for our trunk. So let's set up our sub interfaces. Get our communication from our router to our switch going. So we want to, we're connected to fast Ethernet 1/0. So what you want to do is, since we're going sub interfaces, you don't want to set an address on the primary interface. So let's go to global config, and we want to say interface fast Ethernet, what was that, 1/0. And what you want to do is go in here and you want to say no IP address. Okay, then you want to say speed auto, and then duplex auto. Okay, and we're good there. Then let's go in, let's exit back. Now let's go in and do our sub interfaces. So in order to do this, you want to we're gonna say and what these are, think of these as virtual interfaces. So CompT, we're going to say interface fast Ethernet 1/0 dot. The dot's important for our sub interface. So dot, and then we'll do a for VLAN 10, we'll do 10 for VLAN 10. And we're going to say, we'll just give it a description. We're going to say description, we'll say VLAN 10 network, or description, we'll call it VLAN 10. I don't want to get too description-y or complex here. So VLAN description, VLAN 10. Now, one important thing, before you can put an address on here, you actually have to enable encapsulation on the interface. So actually, let me go back. Let me do I'm gonna do a VLAN. Should I do a VLAN 1 VLAN 1 interface? Because what do we say? Let me go back here. Show IP interface brief. Let's see what my VLAN 1 was. So VLAN 1 we said is 192.168.11.11, and so we'll make our router interface for VLAN 1 11.1. Okay, so let me go back to, where are you at here? Router, bam. So let's go here. We're going to say interface fast Ethernet 1/0.1. That will indicate for our VLAN 1 interface, and we'll go like this, and we'll give it a description, and we'll say VLAN 1. Now, the important piece here, that as I was stating earlier, is the encapsulation. So let me show you, if you try to put an IP address on it before you encapsulate the interface. So IP address 192.168.11.1 255.255.255.0. See, oh, and here's what it tells you here. Configuring IP routing on a LAN subinterface is only allowed if that sub interface is already configured as part of the IEEE 802.10 and .1Q or ISL VLAN. So it's basically, it needs to be a .1Q sub interface. So let's go ahead and do that. What you want to do is type in encapsulation .1Q 1 native. So this is VLAN 1. This will be our native VLAN. So we'll hit that. Now we should be able to go in here and hit our IP address. There you have it. So we've got that set. Now let's go back. You know what I'm gonna do actually? I'm gonna take the interface down, just because it's while I'm doing the configuration. That way I don't have to go back and take it down and then bring it back up. So let's let me do that. Interface at fast Ethernet 1/0, right? And we're gonna say shut down, exit, and then so apparently it looks like it's already shut down. There's no interfaces up anyway, so that's good. Now let's go back to our let's do show the interface brief. So we've got our .1. Let's go back into .10. Let me set my .10 interface address. Okay, interface fast Ethernet 1/0.10, and we said encapsulation .1Q. And here, what you have to actually put in is your VLAN ID, your .1Q, the VLAN that you want this interface to look for, really, the VLAN ID. So we want this to be VLAN 10. So we don't need to do that. So we've already got one as native. So let's go back. We hit enter. And that's our sub interface for you. We'll go back and do our IP address. And what did we say this was? VLAN 10. .1. Okay. Okay. And description VLAN 10 sales. Is that what that is? Is that the sales VLAN? Oh no, that's HR. Okay, so HR. I'll make that a little bit more descriptive on my subs for that. So we've got that set. Let's exit back. Let's do our sub interface for VLAN 20. So I'm a up arrow here a little bit, and fast Ethernet 1/0.20. Okay, that's created my sub interface, and we're gonna say description VLAN 20 sales. Okay, we're gonna do our encapsulation. This is .1Q, and this is going to be looking for our VLAN 20 ID. Hit enter. Let's plug in our IP address for our sub interface, which was 20.1. Okay, so we have all of our the peers. Let me see. We've got, as far as my interfaces are set for that. Okay, that sounds good. I think that's good on my sub interfaces. So next thing to do, let me exit back. Actually, I'm gonna save my config just in case I don't want to mess up anything. So copy, running, and then startup config. Good. So let's go back into global config. Okay, now we are going to let's enable. Oh, I hate when I accidentally do that. Okay, now let's need to enable routing. I just like to make, even though it's a router, you still want to make sure that it's on. Enable routing. Okay, routing's good. Let's go ahead and we are going to let's set up our DHCP services and our scopes. And then from there, there's a few more things we got to do. So we'll step through a lot of this process here. So let's set up our DHCP scopes. Service DHCP. All right, so DHCP services are running. No, so now let's get our scopes going. What you want to do from global config, you want to say IP DHCP pool. We're going to call this VLAN 10. Actually, we know it's VLAN 10. How about we call it HR? We'll just call it HR. Pool is HR. Bam. So what we got? We need to do our network. So we said network of 192.168.10 1.10.0 255.255.255.0. Hit that. All right. Domain. I'm gonna make up a domain name for here. So I always like to see domain name. I'm gonna just call this GNS3lab.net. Okay. We need to set up our default router and that's going to be that for this network. It's going to be the IP address of your sub interface. Yeah, we're gonna, this will be the IP address of our sub interface. I'm sorry. So so that is 192.168.10.1. So that's our default router. Let me see. We did network, domain, yeah, that's right. Default router 2.168.10.1. And let me see. We did network, DNS. Oh, domain name. We're gonna use. I'm gonna use two here. Once I get this hooked up, it's gonna be slick and awesome. So I'm gonna drop in two DNS servers here. And two. Actually, I really just need this one. This is actually my own DNS server. So 192.168.0.2. That's gonna be our DNS. Okay, now our lease. We'll do a short lease. Okay, so that looks good. We got network, domain, default router, domain name. All that looks good. Perfect. Okay, let's exit back out. We'll do our sales pool. And network was 20. Domain name GNS3lab.net. Default router 192.168.20.1. So that's sub interface of our VLAN for that network. Default name, default router, DNS server 192.168.0.2. Okay, and our lease, do the same lease time. I believe that's 2 days, right? Let me make sure here. Lease. So yeah, that number's in days. So you could do infinite lease time. So we did 2 days lease. That's perfect. Perfect. So we've got our DHCP services are set. That's good. So that's golden. I'm gonna, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna power these off. Let's stop these, because since we're doing DHCP, I wanted to pull addresses when I bring these back up online. So let's go back in here. We need to comment all of this back out. Comment, and then we'll go here and uncomment. We'll save, apply. Okay. We'll come over here, do the same thing. Go ahead and oh, I missed some comments, didn't I? Let's comment. I did on the other one. So we'll comment that all. Uncomment those. Save, apply. Okay. Let me go back in on here because I know I missed. Yeah, I did. So right there. Comment that. Save, apply. And okay. All right, looks good. So, routing. Let's test our, since we've got our sub interface, let's test some communication between the router and the switch. So that looks good. Let me exit out. Let me do a quick save real quick on that. Okay, let's say show IP interface brief. Oh, I need to bring up that interface. So let conf t interface fast Ethernet 1/0 and say no shut. Let's bring that up. Okay, which looks good. All right, let's exit out, and I'm gonna say show P interface brief. Bam, look folks, so now as you can see, that primary interface says unassigned. We don't have an address sign of that. All our methods are manual, both up. Our line protocols are up. Look, it looks good. So let's go ahead and test. Let me hop back over to the switch. Let's ping 192.168 dot dot 20.1. Bam, looks good. So we're hitting that sub interface 20.1. Let's say 10.1. Bam, looks good. How about 11? Can we do how about 11.1? Looks good, folks. So we're hitting all those sub interfaces from the switch. Let me make sure all that looks good. Let's hop back over to our router. We have a few more things to get done on our router. I'm going to set up. I'm going to enable our routing protocol. So conf t. Let me take a look at the routing. So do show IP. So okay, so we're directly connected. I'm going to enable routing for my so when we get ready to go out to the internet here. Looks good. I could put a loopback address on here. That's one thing you could do. I mean, those are good for testing. I mean, it was the same process I went through and done for the switch. So I may not do that. If you want to take a look at that, go back and take a look at the previous routing on a stick and switching tutorial video previously. So let's go ahead and I'm going to enable routing. This what is it? Router OSPF1. That's our open shortest path first. Okay, so yeah, I don't necessarily need to add. I don't think those. We'll just enable that for the time. Let's get back out. I want to set up some things on our interface. So this is going to be our interface to go out to the internet. So what was that? Interface fast Ethernet 1/1, and we're going to say I'm going to keep it shut down. Say IP address DHCP. Say exit. Okay. In. We're going to save our config. So far looking good. I'm able to ping from switch to router. What about router to switch? 192.168. I imagine it's going to work, but you never know. It's 20.2. Bam. I figure it's going to work. I just wanted to feel a little bit warm and fuzzy and comfortable. So got that done. Bing. All right. So router to switch is working. Let me take a look at show IP DHCP pool. Looks good. Here's both our pools, our ranges. Nothing's assigned. I don't have any. I don't have my. I don't have my machines up. Oh, one thing I should probably do just to make sure. I don't know if it'll make a difference or not. Let me leave it off for right now, because if I do have to enable it, I can drop it on there. It's the IP help. I don't think I need IP help. I think that's more on the routing side, but okay. From here, we need to set up natting. So we're going to NAT our interfaces on our router. This will be for our internet access. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go back to our router. Conf T interface fast Ethernet 1/1. So we want to NAT this. It'll be our inside interface, because this is our interface closest or most inside your network. So you want to NAT, that will be your NAT inside interface. So we went in there, and what you want to do is say IP NAT inside. Okay, so we got that NAT interface created. All right, so now, and I may have messed up, because I know sometimes I've had trouble in the past. I don't know whether you should do the NAT interface first while it's down, or whether it's up, or so we'll go through and we'll figure this out. So I did that. Next, I'm going to I need to do my access list. Probably should have done that first. Exit. So we're going to say IP access list. It's a standard, and we're going to call this IP NAT, so we know what it is. We'll go get it. So now we'll say sequence number. We'll start with this. We're gonna make our own sequence and start with our own sequence number here. So we'll say 2 permit, and we're gonna give our VLANs 192.168.10.0, and you put in your wildcard. Wildcard is almost, think of it almost like your subnet mask in reverse, so to speak. So you want to say 0.0.0.255. That means basically it's saying anything that's has to be, it has to be 192.168, and it can be anything. So anything on that network will be allowed. Permit that. Looks good. We'll get it. We'll go back. We'll do our we'll make this 2423 permit, and this is our 20 network. Hit that. Looks good. We'll exit out of here. We've got our access list created. Do show IP access list. There it is, IP NAT. Now what we have to do is we have to apply that to our NAT interface. So what you want to do is, from config interface, you want to say IP NAT what is it? IP NAT source list. Oh, I'm sorry. IP NAT inside source list. IP NAT. And what is it? So you need to put your interface in. You're going to say interface fast Ethernet, and this is going to be applied to our outgoing in our outside interface, which is fast Ethernet 1/1. 1/1. Darn it. 1/1, and you want to overload. And what that is going to do is going to overload those addresses from the inside to the outside. Okay, let's hit enter on that. Okay, now let's go ahead and go into our interface fast Ethernet 1/1, and you want to say IP NAT outside. So that's good there. I'm going to go ahead and bring up our internet. And if I did this correctly, this should, we should get out here. That's if I did everything correctly here. So we're going to check this out and see. So we've done that. We applied our, only thing I haven't turned up the, interface 1.1 yet, so do show IP interface brief. So it's up, nothing's set, it's unassigned. So I'm hoping once the internet's up, so okay, we're up there, that's up. And even our NAT interface is up too. Oh, it gave us that 11.1. This might not work. Okay, so GNS3, IF config. Okay. So we got that. Let me go ahead and exit. And you know what? Hold on. Let me try something here, because I'm almost thinking I may have messed up. But let me stop. I'm gonna start this router back up. Console. I'm not sure where at in the config I saved it, but let me check and see. It's just a quick little. I'm doing a quick reboot, and I'm gonna take a look at see where my config's at. I may have to reset a few things. Okay, code start. Show IP interface brief. Okay, unset. Okay, I'm gonna leave that. Let's go. Let's redo this. So let's go. We're gonna say config t interface fast Ethernet 1. Actually, let me do my access list first. Do show IP access list. Nothing's there. Okay, so IP access list, and we want to say standard. We want to say IP NAT, and we want to say, I'll let it create its own sequence numbers. I'm gonna leave that alone. So we'll say permit 192.168.10.0, and our wildcard 0.0.0.255, and permit our 20 network to. Looks good. Okay, I'm going to exit out of that, and I'm going to go to our interface fast Ethernet 1/1 and say IP address DHCP, and we're going to say no shut. So, and that should here in a second get a DHCP address. I'll maybe give it a minute. Exit out back to my global config. So, while we're waiting on that, that should be. Make sure we got here. So this looks good. Let me ping 8. Okay, this is my internet, our drop-in internet machine here. So we got that, and I'm not sure why it's not show IP interface brief. Okay, what was that? 1/1 unassigned. It's up. 1/1. I'm wondering if I should bring it down and back up. Interface fast Ethernet 1/1. We'll say shut down. We'll say no shut. I'll give it a little few seconds and I'll bring it back up here. Okay. So we'll bring the interface back up, and hopefully we should be getting a DHCP address. Interesting. Okay. Exit. Exit. Maybe is it my internet machine? I wouldn't think, but darn. Show IP interface brief. Okay, I've got it 1/1. Got it set to DHCP, but it's not see, unassigned. How about we stop? Let's stop and then start that back up, and then console you again. Okay, and we'll wait for this to boot up here. Give it a few seconds here. It should come up. That's interesting. I don't know why I'm not getting a DHCP address. Very interesting. Connected, escape character is that. Okay. That's up. I haven't set my NAT stuff. Why is it not giving me an address? Show IP route. Oh, maybe that's why. Let's say net conf t, and we'll say network conf t. Oh, router. I'm sorry. Router OSPF1 network of. What were you? What was your network here? GNS3, and if config, and let's see, because that's the that's just the default. So 192.172.16. Let's do that. So we'll say those are connected. I don't really need to. That's bugging me that's not. Exit. Let's say that looks good. Huh. Interesting. Well, while that's I'm gonna wait and see if that gives me something, but I'm gonna go ahead. I guess our main test was to get our private network set up, so I want to test that. I want to see if we're getting some addresses. If our DHCP services are working, then I think I messed up. I need to stop. Folks, I forgot to do one thing. Stop on my router. Go back here. So we want to say IPDH exit show. Oh no, conf T. We want to say IP DHCP DHCP X IP. Darn it. DHCP exclude, there we go, 192.168.10.1 and .2 and 20.1 and .2. Okay, so let's exit back. Now I forgot. Let me take a look at my config. I forgot to do that. Show running config. Okay, there we go. There go our excluded addresses. Domain DHCP. Probably should have took a look at this first. So them are there. IP source route. Okay. Look up. Okay. Okay. Looks good. Okay, looks good. Dang it, why I keep doing it? Okay. So now let's go back. Dang it, I got too much stuff going. So, where are you at? Where's my IP terminal? Oh, let me start these now. Start. And now, let me go console. I'm gonna say, and oh, there it goes. So it did. We got an IP address from our DHCP server. Ping 192.168.20.1, folks, and there we go. We are pinging our router. So we're going from here, hitting our VLAN. Bam, it's going up, hitting that sub interface. Bam, 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 bam. Boy, that's like Emerald Lagasse style. Bam, 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 bam. Just like that. So it looks good. We kind of limped along a few things on here, but we got that done. Let me take a look at the other host. So other host here, I should be. Let me take a look. IF config. We got an address. So let's ping 192.168. We'll say 10.1. I'll do a count. I don't want it to do all those. Count of 6. Folks, there we have it. So we're pinging from both hosts. We are able to ping going through our router, hitting up that VLAN, and hitting that router, hitting that sub interface. Looks good. Let me go back. Now, I guess the big test, let's see if we can ping that other host. So 192.168. .20.4. Let's hit it, man. Bam, folks, we're making magic. So as you can see there, we got packets going through. We got some ICMP packets. That's a good indication. So if we go back here and take a look, what we're doing is we're pinging this host machine from this web term 1 over to IP term 1. We are sending packets going out our line here, and let me prove that to you. I don't want to. I'm not just making up no jive here. Let me prove this to you. So I'm gonna hit Wireshark on there, and so what we got, we don't have any. This is basically our. This is our basic. This is what you're gonna see is the router our spanning tree traffic. So let's hit that ping again. I want to show you folks here. We are because this is awesome. This is lovely. Bam. So now, as you can see here, we've got. You can see we've got traffic. If I go here and show you here, Internet Protocol, our source address 10.4, our destination is 20.4. We get a reply back from 20.4 to our destination of 10.4. Folks, we are talking. We've got some communication going on. We have that's what that is. So this has been fun. I don't know what's going on with the router piece. I made maybe I'll get back into that at a later time. But let me see. Show IP interface brief. Yeah, I don't want to see NVRAM unassigned Ethernet. Folks, I don't know why I'm not getting an address going on here. So let's do this. Unassigned DHCP. We're gonna do this. So conf t IP interface Ethernet 1/1. Oh, on the interface phase 1/1 IP NAT outside conf. And we're gonna say exit. Oh no, hold on. Do show access. Yes. Okay, then we're gonna say interface fast Ethernet. Interface fast Ethernet 1/0 dot 10. I'm gonna say IP NAT inside exit, and then we'll say 20 IP NAT inside exit, and then we're gonna say IP NAT inside source list IP NAT interface fast Ethernet 1/1 overload, and we'll hit that up. Okay, we'll exit, and okay, show face brief. And we're still not getting it's getting the address of VLAN 1. I don't know why this thing's tripping on me. Okay. We'll have to come back to this and say this at a later time. I don't want to. I've been on here for a little time here. I need to actually make some make me some lunch and some things to eat here. But I wanted to we basically did go through and accomplish what I did want to accomplish, and that was actually to set up a virtual lab router on a stick, with the exception of our internet node here. I don't know why this was giving us a problem. Oh, you know what? Bam, let me delete. Yes, I think I may know what's going on. I said I think. I can't positively be too sure. But let's do this. Start console. I may be wrong. This doesn't work, then we'll end the episode on that, and then we'll pick back up. I'll try to show you how the internet will actually work. I may have to set the lab up, and then we'll kind of go back and because I went through the steps here, but for some odd reason this is giving me a hell of a time. So but let me wait for this to come up. I want to see if this will solve my problem. I'm a little hesitant that it will, but let's see. Never know. Let's see. Okay, so GNS3 config. I don't really think that this is gonna solve my problem. That didn't change, but that changed. Okay, so I don't think this is gonna solve me problem. So conf t interface fast Ethernet 1.1. It will say shut down. And no shutdown. Give it a second. Bring it back up. That's just baffling me why this is not getting an IP address. Oh, there we go. Booyaka. Booyaka, booyaka. Booyaka, booyaka. Booyaka, booyaka. Man. So that folks, I had the wrong internet module loaded. So it wasn't working right for me. So let's exit back. Bam. Exit. Man, I see I got a smile on my face now. Do show IP interface brief. Oh, what did I do? Show IP interface brief. Okay, there we've got an address. I'm a little bit leery on that. Okay, so just on ping 8. Okay, so I'm pinging. My router is taking me out, so I just pinged. That's a Google public address from my router. Successful. Let me take a look. Let me see. Show IP DHCP pool. Okay. Got 2 leases going on here for some reason. I think that's from when I tried to connect before. It still remembered I tried to it assigned the wrong addresses, some duplicates. So nonetheless, that's getting out. I'm just going to kind of backtrack here. Did I set my show running config? I don't know if I set my default gateway on my switch. Okay, yeah, I did. Okay, I did, folks. Okay, so ping. Let's try it. Let's try it. Oh, you gonna get us out? Folks, I don't think. I'm not confident this is hitting this right, baby. I'm not confident. Not confident this is taking me out where I want to go. So my router's taking me out. That's my switch. No IP routing should be on there. Default gateway. One. That should make sense. That's right. I am a little upset though that. Where's my router at? Show IP interface brief. I don't think I can interface in NBI 0. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna let me do that. Okay, exit. Let's do this. Let's restart. Let me do it from here. So stop, start, and I think I may have. Let me see if I can get this, because I was anxious to really show you guys this. I really want to see if I can get this going here. My video might be a little bit excessive here. I don't know if it'll let me. Let me see. Okay. So show the interface brief. Okay. I didn't set it. Good. So okay. Conf T interface fast Ethernet 1/1. We're going to say IP address DHCP and no shut. Exit. Then we're going to say exit. There we go. We got an address. Exit. Uh-oh, I didn't mean to do that. So I'm going to say show IP access list. So okay, none set. Conf T. Okay, so we want to say IP access list. We want to say this is just a standard list. IP NAT. Enter. We want to say permit 192.168.10.0, our wildcard 0.0.0.255. Do it with our 20 address, 20 or our 20 network. Permit that. Now we want to exit. It's looking good so far. Now we want to do show IP interface brief. Okay, see, we got our DHC. That's what we wanted. We wanted that outside our quote unquote our public would be our public facing address. So we wanted that. That's what I really was looking for. So now let's go in and say we've got our access list created. Now let's go in. I'm gonna end. Let's save that config just in case. That looks good as we're going good. So now conf T, and we want to do our interfaces. Now we'll go ahead and do our IP natting. So we'll say interface fast Ethernet 1/0.10, and we'll say IP NAT inside exit, and we'll say 20. We'll say IPNAT inside, exit, and we'll say interface fast Ethernet 1/1 IPNAT outside, exit, and now we'll apply the access list IPNAT inside source list IPNAT interface 1/1, and we're gonna overload. Bam. We'll exit out of there. Okay. Now let's show IP interface brief. And still, I don't understand why that's doing that. But let's take a look. See. Okay, inside source list. Okay, so I wonder if it's because that's the native VLAN, but let me go back here. I mean, it's getting I'm not confident this still is not going to work for me, but anywho, I do have yeah, I don't, this is giving me some issues. I do have a lab set up where I was able to actually accomplish this, and I could show you that, but in any case, you know, we've got our lab set up. We went through the process of, we've set up our router, we've set up our switch, our VLANs, we've trunked our interfaces, we've got DHCP services running on the router. We're now being able to distribute IP addresses out to our hosts via connected to our switch. So I hope I just took a little minute. We walked through. It took a little bit more time than actually I wanted to, but hey, is what it is. That's what you got. Hey, if you liked it, if you enjoyed it, if you got something out of it, comment in the field below, somewhere down up in there where my fingers are pointing at. Comment, like it, share it. Let me know if you didn't like it. Say, JC, you're a piece of crap. You know, get out of here. You smell like, you know, a big turd. Whatever. Let me know. You know, like I said, if you want to be with anybody out there, you want to be with the best. Yeah. Holla at your boy. I'll see you on the next go round. Peace.